I would probably say, you know, these are gonna be talking about like, these are like real crimes. Like, I would imagine that there is probably, this is probably gonna be triggering to some people. I would assume that this is gonna be triggering, for sure. These are real cases. This is real. These are real people and real crime that has happened. So just be aware. Okay, here we go.
The drama began shortly after the Frederick Police Department received a call from Nicole Atkinson, the best friend of Shannon Watts. She had arranged to drive Shannon into town that same day for a pregnancy checkup, but there was no answer when she knocked at the door, nor any response to her text messages or phone calls. After noticing her shoes were still at the front door, she became concerned and called 911.
Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
All right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant.
Oh,
she wasn't feeling well. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
How you doing?
You
seen your neighbors today? No? Okay. What's Chris's phone number?
Chris's phone number is...
Hey, Chris, Officer Coonrod for the police department. Pretty good. So, do you have any idea where your wife is? Right. What my concern is her car's here. They're saying she is diabetic. I don't want her... If she's upstairs and can't respond. Okay. About how far out are you? Okay, all right. He said like 5 minutes.
It's not a sure sign of guilty conduct, yet the fact that Chris made the officer wait for his return would have most likely alerted some minor suspicion. In normal circumstances, a husband receiving a call from the police saying they were concerned about the safety of their pregnant wife and children, in most cases, would have given them permission to immediately kick the door down. It's a truly somber awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Did I miss something? Okay, hold on. Okay.
To immediately kick the door down. It's a truly somber awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
The familiar routine for anyone checking for someone's presence inside a house, whether it be an emergency or otherwise, is to immediately call out to them for instantaneous reassurance. Chris remains silent, but instead feels the need to examine his wife's car before subtly sneaking through the internal garage door. He then disappears for 1 minute and 7 seconds before letting the neighbors and police officer inside.
Oh, wow,
Only Chris
so
will know
guilty.
what he carried out during that time period, but it's safe to assume that his curious behavior was not going unnoticed, made evident by the unsettled gaze of Nicole as he opens the door.
Oh, you guys can't see her gaze, but like she's like, wow, this is sus. That's what she was thinking. Oops, sorry.
Opens the door.
Mind if I come in, Chris?
There were multiple key moments captured from inside the house, which may not have been noticed immediately by the officer, but would have no doubt been gathered by forensics upon further investigation.
What is it?
The most overt peculiarity was Chris's interaction with his phone. The guise of his thumb movement would have given the impression he was texting someone, which would have seemed very peculiar, as the normal response would be to frantically call people rather than text given the circumstances. Hindsight gives us a clearer picture of Chris's introversion, which is that he was most likely using his phone to avoid eye contact and progressive dialogue with the officer.
What time do you leave the day?
What time to leave there? Come
No, here.
Usually between 5:30 and 6.
Alright. And was Shannon here then?
Yes. Yeah, she's going back.
Oh, he's guilty.
Does she usually watch the kids, or do you have daycare watch them? Or?
She usually watches the kids at her high school.
Okay. You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues, or?
We're going through separation.
You are? And how's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most
civil,
part, or?
Huh. Why did he laugh? Oh, this is awkward.
Additionally, we are presented with the subtle cues of Chris's forethought cover story, being that his wife simply ran off with the kids after a breakdown in the marriage.
All the girls' blankies are gone. Their blankets they sleep with, they don't leave anywhere without them.
Good.
The rest of Chris's conduct could be analyzed and dissected in various ways, and it would be easy to pick at certain oddities in body language and link them with signs of guilt. Yet, without the hindsight we have now, his behavior could just as easily be linked with an innocent man who is understandably concerned and frantic over the disappearance of his family. His very conservant neighbor, however, had the perceptual advantage of knowing Chris on a semi-personal level, and could analyze his kinesics in a far more accurate manner than the police officer.
You just want to go talk to him? I'm going to get his info real quick.
Oh, he says he's not acting right at all. Not at all.
Right.
To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently.
Yeah. He doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks.
Ooh.
He's normally quiet, real subdued. He's over here telling you 3 times what he took out, what he did, what he did, what he did. He's very. He never talks. So the fact that he's over here blabbing his mouth makes me kind of suspicious.
This was just after the moment he had shown both Chris and the officer his surveillance
Man, I really don't know where to put myself sometimes. What about up here?
footage of that same morning, capturing only Chris leaving the house after loading multiple unidentified things into his truck.
Yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling the ear trim. So, unless they pulled right here, but I would have caught her walking out.
Although not fully incriminating, as Shannon and the kids could have left through the back entrance, this was an extremely detrimental piece of evidence, and would have no doubt been extolled by forensics and made Chris an immediate prime suspect. The following day, Chris, for some bizarre reason, agreed to be interviewed by 2 separate news stations, where he came across as extremely unimpassioned and detached from the alarming nature of the situation.
Like, when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like, she wasn't here. Kids weren't here. I have no idea, like, where they went. Right now, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's, like, they're doing their best right now to figure out, like, if they can get a scent. If she wasn't here, like, where did she go? Like, once I got here, it was like, all right, who can I call? I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, you know, what's going on? Like, if she's vanished, like, I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. Right now, I don't even want to just, like, throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. Last night, I wanted that knock on the door. I wanted to see those kids run in, just barrel rush me and just give me a hug and knock me on the ground. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I'm hoping that somebody sees something or somebody knows something and comes forward. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back.
Like,
I need to
just
see
come
everybody.
back.
I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody
I
here.
miss you.
Please bring her back.
This could have been construed as shock trauma, where a person will turn numb and retreat into themselves as a means of escape. Yet the viewers watching this live from home were probably thinking what we as the retrospective audience already know. He was called in for questioning 4 hours later.
Oh my god.
Alright, let's do this. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows where these kids are. And I keep saying kids, I'm sorry, the kids in your life. I know you're going through a lot, so I'm not going to keep you here all night. Just tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs. Okay. Because when they come knocking, when they come knocking key.
One of the oldest and most commonly used techniques is for the interrogator to sit between the door and the suspect. This is for the purpose of heightening the feelings of isolation and dependence. It's an indirect subliminal message, letting Chris know that the only way out of that room is through the detective. It's an excellent tool for stripping away confidence, thus increasing the telling signs and body language when information is fabricated.
4 a.m., that's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm supposed to get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
About 4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about having the house up for sale, and talking about it, like actually proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, like we felt the disconnection was there, like falling out of love, and trying to stay together, maybe just for the kids' sake, but we're realizing that doing like our homework, it's not, most of the time that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Gets ready for work, goes to
So
work.
that's when I got home, I opened the garage door, and we went inside the house, and looked everywhere, Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, nowhere to be found. Shanann's wedding ring's on her nightstand, her phone's still on the couch, her purse is still there, the medicine for the kids is still there, the car and the car seats are still there, and there's no sign of them anywhere.
Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? If they left him, why did they leave all their stuff?
I was hoping that I'd get a knock on the door, but
Yeah,
nothing.
back.
Yeah, but nothing happened.
What do you think happened?
At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house. just
Truthful,
decompressing.
short and direct,
Yeah.
untruthful,
But
long and
after
detailed.
today, like with the onslaught of all the cars, all the police cars, all the news, all the canine units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her.
Okay.
But it's just, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew. Because there's no sign of anything like being disturbed, broken.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I thought she was safe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just, after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction. And it's freaking me out.
Discussing Shannon's friends circle, work life, phone history, computer history.
On that night, I woke up early that morning, I told her, like, the disconnection it's there, like, it's not going away, like, the connection we had in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
it's not there anymore. It's like, I don't feel like the love we have is there anymore.
Okay.
So you killed her.
And it's just like, I don't feel like, if we want to stay together for the kids, I'm not sure if that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bringing
That's
another,
what you told him?
yes.
Okay.
Like, having another baby, bringing us into this relationship, do you think this is going to work
Mm-hmm.
with us being together? Or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when, like, all the crying and everything proceeded. And it was very hard just to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face, like, while I did it.
He's saying like a lot because he's nervous.
Whatever, I needed to be
I
face to
think.
face and be able to see her and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh, what did she say?
She said that she wanted to kind of work on it,
Mm-hmm.
but if that's the way I was feeling, then she respects that.
Okay. 1 p.m. I'm now on my way home to check on my family. Is that just because you're worried based on the conversation with Nicole? Had the police contact you by then?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I arrived, sorry, go ahead.
But Nicole said she was probably going to call the cops.
Okay. All right. Now,
His
so it
wife,
sounds like Nicole's pretty worried.
2
More worried
kids,
than
and
me.
1 unborn
So
child.
once she couldn't get anything out of her and nothing was going on in the house, I was like, all right, I gotta go home.
The sharp and sudden change of angle from baseline questioning to direct confrontation would normally make an innocent person refute or at least challenge the statement. There would also be a brief pause, as they would need time to process the allegation due to its perplexity. A guilty individual would already be in a defensive state of mind and would normally
True.
respond in a hastily modus. Instead of refuting the remark, they would accept it, but try and explain its actuality in a defensive manner.
But it sounds like Nicole was more worried.
Yeah, because like
most of, like, if she doesn't text me, like, I understand that, like, sometimes that happens.
Okay.
But for her not to get back to her direct sales group, that was very unorthodox.
Okay. So then they're at home, police officers there.
Mm-hmm.
Then walk me through that.
So as we go through the house, we're
Do
all,
you immediately go through the house?
like, I open the garage door and I just go into the house. I'm looking, like, I just go in the garage door and I'm looking.
Is the police officer saying, hey, let me talk to you for a minute?
No.
No, okay.
No.
What's the vibe like?
I go up there, shake his hand, but I'm like opening the garage door at the same time.
Okay.
And then I go through, and then they're waiting at the front door. I go in, open that up, and then they come in.
Oh, so they didn't go in the garage door with you? Okay.
Well, they went in the garage. They didn't come in the way I did.
All right. So then...
Because he shut the door behind
everybody
him.
goes in.
I think that was at, and at 4 o'clock, that's when, because the officer, I went over to the neighbor's house to see if he saw anything, and
Whose idea was that?
I think it was the officer, because
Okay.
he just went over there. And then that's when the neighbor
God.
called him back over to show him he had some stuff from the other night.
Okay.
Just show him like whatever he had, and that put motion on it.
Okay. 4 p.m. Police check neighbor security footage and question them as well. Okay. Have we talked about that? Is that where we're okay?
That's where we're at.
Anything else about that?
No, I mean, it just shows Nicole dropping her off, but her not walking up, and it shows me loading my truck up at the time that I told you I left.
Okay. Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about? So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything.
Oh.
Okay. And part of keeping an open mind is listening to you talk about your wife and your marriage. And the day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay? So you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
My light is too bright.
Makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. Like, I know, like, I've talked to a few of my friends, it's like, you know, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know.
So much better.
It's like, if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're gonna look at me, especially with the way everything looks. It honestly just makes me
Yeah, it
sick
looks
to my
bad
stomach,
for
'cause
you.
This is something that I would never do. Ever. I know, like, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife. At all.
Oh, God. What a liar.
This is what is known as the pause technique. After the suspect answers a question, the interrogator will remain silent while maintaining eye contact. This physical demeanor gives off the subtle cue that he expects more information to be divulged and may already know more than the suspect realizes.
Oh? Oh, that's so awkward.
I'm not sure, like, what I could do, like, to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family. At all.
You're a liar. Yeah, drill him with your eyes.
I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning, and then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids. I promise you that I had nothing to do with any of that.
Don't know wall him. Oh, it's so awkward. It hurts. Oh, God.
Are you telling me the truth?
Oh, no.
Why should I believe you?
A truthful individual will normally respond to this question with a question, such as, "Why are you asking me that?" or "What's going on here?" They will often protest the aggressive nature of the inquisition, or give a short and forceful response.
Because I'm a very trustworthy person, and the people that do know me, they know how I'm a calm person. I am not an argumentative person.
We have a response
I am
timer.
a person who is never going to be abusive or physical in any kind of relationship. I would never harm my kids. I would never harm my wife. I mean, you can talk to any of my friends, any of her friends. They know me. They know
I'm a low-key guy that's quiet. So I'm not about confrontation. I'm not about anything that elevates to that level. I mean, you can, like, if someone like yells at me,
thanks for
screams at
joining.
me, I just take it. And
Thanks for the
I just
donos and members
try
I
to
missed
get it
as
by the
well.
wayside
Thank you.
and get it back to where it's just a cool conversation to where, like, none of that gets to that height. Because I am not that person. I've never been that person.
We hit a minute almost. Well, that's awkward. Passive disapproval.
Would you take a polygraph?
Sure.
What's a polygraph?
Let's take a little break. I'm going to come back in here because I have a lot more questions for you. How you feeling?
Looking at that picture,
What's the picture?
find him.
Oh.
God. Celeste, she's Rampage. She's always the one that's gung-ho. She's always the one that's just like, she's off. She's either go or sleep. She's always the one growling. She's always been, she's a tiger. Bella, she's the calm, the mothering one.
Live
She's
text
the one
us,
that's
gotcha.
always, you okay? You okay? You fine? Okay. She's just the sweetest little girl. She's the one that favors me more, and Celeste is the one that favors Shanann more.
It's sickening.
I remember when they wore that dress. She just wore that dress not too long ago. I unbuttoned the back of it so I could get her pajamas on. She's like, no, Daddy, button. I got button. And Bella loves those spaghetti strap dresses. She likes long dresses. She was a girly girl.
She was the girly girl. Captions?
I gotta find them, right?
I gotta find them, right?
I need your help.
When
When we find the guy who took him, what do you think we should do?
Oh.
This is what is known as a behavior-provoking question. An innocent person will usually give what is known as a draconian response. They will immediately respond with the harshest sentence possible for the crime they are falsely being accused of committing. A deceptive individual will often give an equivocating response. This means that they will fragmentize and divert from the question to a certain degree, as a means to avoid responding to the query in its entirety.
They're gonna come home safe, correct? When you find the guy.
When we find the guy, they're going to come home.
Oh, not safe.
Life in prison would be that's what I would think with 2 kids that are involved.
He's seeking
What if
approval.
he hurt them?
Yeah, what if you hurt them?
I'm not sure if like that penalty is even used. Is it used in Colorado? I'm not even sure.
What is?
The death penalty.
Okay.
I mean, like, if these kids are not alive, like, there's nothing you could do to cope with that, to make me cope with that, if those kids are not okay.
Those kids.
Okay. Can we keep talking about some complicated things?
Sure.
Some things that are going to make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You've done very good in talking to me about this really hard conversation you guys had. Okay? Very good. That's sometimes hard. And I understand why sometimes someone in your position says,
Passive
doesn't want to
accusation.
tell me about that. Because please go help me find my kids, and you don't need to know about my marriage argument, okay? So I got to say, you've done very good at that, and I need you to keep doing that. So I need to ask you about your marriage and infidelity,
Okay.
Okay, tell me about it.
Now, I have never cheated on my wife.
Okay.
And I fully suspect she has never done that to me.
Oh, okay.
The interrogator was already aware that Chris was cheating on his wife with a woman by the name of Nicole Kessinger. He had handed over his phone earlier on this interview for what he thought was for the purpose of going through his and his wife's mutual contacts to look for potential suspects. Judging by Chris's bold-faced denial, it's safe to assume he deleted all of his correspondence with Nicole beforehand. Yet he was most likely unaware that the FBI have programs that can recover every single piece of digital exchange sent from a device, even long after it's deleted.
Highly trained investigator.
You hear that,
over here,
chat?
right? I see pictures
The
of you.
FBI is
from a
gonna
few
see
years
your
ago.
nudes.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you standing before me now. Okay, you've gotten pretty fit.
Yes.
Okay. You can imagine when guys start cheating or want to cheat, that's what happens.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
That I did not cheat on my wife.
Okay. What do I do to help you walk out of this room and not look like the person who's responsible?
You have to trust me. I had nothing to do with this
Detective
act
never
of
mentioned
like evil
violence.
cruelty, whatever has happened here. Because my love for these two girls and my wife, like, I don't want anything to happen to them. I've never wanted anything to happen to them.
Why is happen highlighted there?
No matter if me and my wife separate or not, or divorce or anything.
Oh, because
I
something
never
has
wished harm
happened.
on anybody, on a
They're
human
gone.
being in general.
Okay.
Like,
Never wished harm.
just seeing that picture, like, I need them, I want them just to run through that front door and just grab me,
Mhm.
or just barrel, just tackle me, knock me to the floor, bust my head, I don't care. The amount of love I have for my family is exponential, and it's never gonna die. And I want them back.
Okay.
I have to have them back.
Start of confrontation. It's time.
When you walk out of this room, there's nothing I can say to a room full of police officers that's going to convince them that you have nothing to do with it.
Thomas, I'm so sorry you
You know
didn't
what they
sleep.
think.
I know all that, yeah.
Here's a guy who didn't call 911.
Have a good day at work.
Who woke his wife up at a ridiculous hour because he was so guilty about something that he had to get it off his chest and say, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving you. That didn't go well. Okay, so what happened?
She told me she wanted me to wake her up before I left. That's why I didn't just wake her up, like, just to tell her this. Like, I woke her up. That's what she wanted to do, and we talked. Like, usually at 4 a.m., I wake up, I go down and work out. This day, I wanted to talk to her about this.
And on this day, she died. How convenient. Pause technique. Detective fixed his gaze on photo. That's crazy.
I love these girls. I love these girls so much. And this picture right here, Celeste and Bella, those are my life. I helped make those kids.
I helped
There's
make
nothing
those kids.
in my life that means more to me than these kids. Nothing. Kids, that's your life.
Minus
That's your
one.
lifeline.
For sure.
That's everything. Like, you make kids, they come first before anything. Kids, spouse, family. That's what it's always been.
Minus 10. For sure.
Nothing you've told me tonight makes sense.
Ooh.
Nothing you've told me tonight feels like the truth. Can we start over?
Sure.
End of confrontation.
Tonight's been pretty intense, I can imagine.
Where's the
Alright.
timer?
I've slept like 2 hours last night,
Steve,
so
welcome
I'm
back.
like running on empty right
Hey,
now.
Roseanne,
but,
thank you.
I can see it. So why don't I do this? I'm sure you don't mind if we take a break for the night. I'm sure that you are feeling some of the pressure from me. Okay? I'm going to commit to you that we're not going to stop working until we find them.
Okay.
Okay?
Ooh.
And I want to commit to you that there is going to come a time when you're going to feel this pressure from other people. I'm not the only one who thinks that there's a possibility you have something to do with this.
Like another FBI agent, like, pressure, or like just like...
Everyone.
Okay.
Everyone,
Okay.
he said.
The interrogator is clearly receptive to Chris's anxiety and endeavors to amplify this emotion before ending the interview. He wants to inflate Chris's apprehension as much as possible for the looming polygraph test that approaches the following day.
Tonight when you go home, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to pass out because you're so tired, okay? And that's probably not going to be what happens. Your head's going to go race, okay? So tonight when you lay down and your head starts racing, there's going to be things that come to your mind, okay? This always happens, always. It's very natural. You're going to say, I wonder why he asked me that, okay? You're going to say, screw him, how dare he accuse me, okay? You're going to say, I wonder if they thought of this, okay? And then you're going to say, I probably should have told him something, or this or that, okay? Those are the most common things. When those thoughts come to your head, I want you to call me. And those are beautiful kids. Those kids have a good dad, and I know it.
Let's just say the picture it's on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a better one, but it's just, I'm sorry too, but it's...
Those kids have a good dad.
The following discourse from the officer could be construed as the reframing technique, where an interrogator will try and shift the suspect's view of themselves from negative to positive, as a means to lightening the iniquity of their crimes and increasing the chances of a confession. However, this is more likely what is known as passive accusation, where the interrogator is almost certain of the suspect's guilt and indirectly accuses, and in some manner, indignifies the suspect. This is made evident by the high praises the officer gives to Chris for extremely trivial deeds.
A lot of dads don't get second pairs of clothes and cook eggs and give them snacks at night. You know, a lot of men, that's woman's work, right?
I like to get involved.
But you're not that kind of guy, okay? So can we say that tomorrow at 11 o'clock,
Okay.
we can do a polygraph?
Here.
Here. I appreciate you coming in tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me a few minutes. This is Tammy. Did you meet Tammy yesterday?
No,
okay. This is Tammy.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
So on this?
Yep, I know. I'll explain what that is here in a little bit, but you don't have to worry. It's not on or anything right now. It's not gonna buzz you or anything. Obviously, you're probably nervous about taking today's test. Honestly, I would think something is wrong with you if you weren't nervous about coming in here to take a polygraph. Even if people are like, I don't have anything to hide, it is nerve-wracking. And I have taken tons of polygraphs. Obviously, in my training, I went to 10 weeks for training. I've been a polygrapher about...
My cam. Maybe over here it's safe. Sorry, I was trying to move my cam and I missed this.
I would think something is wrong with you if you weren't nervous about coming in here to take a polygraph. Even if people are like, I don't have anything to hide, it is nerve-wracking. And I have taken tons of polygraphs. Obviously, in my training, I went to 10 weeks for training. I've been a polygrapher for about 5 years. I went to the best school in the country. So I want you to have confidence in the fact that you had nothing to do with this disappearance. Like, we're going to find that out today.
If you had nothing to do with this.
I have the best training that they offer in the United States. We use the most validated testing.
Best training, best procedure.
The way I'm going to ask you the questions.
Oh,
so
he's probably shaking in his boots.
To do with this, I will be able to show them that today.
This is psychological pressure disguised as reassurance.
Yeah.
It's not a routine procedure during the pre-test phase of a polygraph exam. Yet this technique will be used when the suspect's guilt is almost conclusive. Polygraphs are not a foolproof system, and they can be beaten. But with a heightened state of anxiety, it becomes considerably more challenging and unlikely. On this occasion, the polygrapher distinctly applies this technique for maximal effect.
There's actually only 2 ways you can fail a polygraph, okay? The first way would be if you fail to follow my instructions. I'm going to give you a lot of instructions today about how to sit still, how to answer questions, things like that. So if you fail to follow those instructions, you will not pass today's test, okay? The second way would be if you choose to lie.
I'm nervous for him.
You know, if you did have something to do with their disappearance, it would be really stupid for you to come in and take a polygraph today.
Oh my God.
Right? Like, it would be really dumb. Like, you should not be here right now sitting in this chair if you had anything to do with Shanann and the girl's disappearance, okay?
Polygrapher then establishes the
everything
entire
flourished from there. Like in 2011, I proposed to her over in Ocean Isle Beach. And she was just sitting there crying with a little eviction notice, and she recorded it. It was an amazing day just to see that. And then she left. She was I was there, like, she had a midwife for this one. So, like, they actually had me, like, oh, you can stand here and, like, you know, catch her, and, like, but Celeste came out, like, so fast that, like, I barely had a chance to go like this, and they moved me out of the way because she just, like, came out.
The polygrapher will also obtain the examinee's version of the facts regarding the specific issues under investigation.
Like, I was just hoping that I would get that knock on the door, or a phone call, or a text. I mean, her phone, I mean, they have her phone, like, hopefully maybe it's a number I don't know. Hopefully it's, like, you know, like a burner phone, or some kind of, like, phone she bought, and she could just text me and call me, like, hey, I'm okay. Something. Or just get a knock on the door, and then the kids just run in. I miss, like, the kids, like, sitting at the dinner table and, like, having to tell them to eat their dinner, and, like, I miss them throwing their chicken nuggets at me. Like, I just want to find them. I want them to come home safe. Like, wherever they are, I hope they are safe. And I really hope they can just come home. It makes me feel like, all right, maybe somebody has her that's not keeping her safe. Or something terrible has happened.
Huh.
And that's the nightmare.
And what would that terrible thing be?
That somebody hurt them.
Chris recounts a brief summary of the events and states multiple vague possibilities for his family's disappearance. The polygrapher then starts to elect specific timelines for Chris to give his account on.
You said the next thing you know is her getting into bed with you, is that right?
I felt her get into bed. We didn't say anything because I just kind of felt it.
Okay. Do you know if she was on her phone, or like how any of that works?
I don't think she was on her phone.
Was she mad at all?
I mean, crying like she was, crying like I was. I mean, yeah, I mean, she was upset, but I mean, it comes with that kind of conversation.
In the next moments, you will see another subterfuge of psychological pressure, this time disguised as routine questioning procedure. It's a vastly open-ended question relevant to the crimes under suspicion. These types of questions are common knowledge and easily clarified by the innocent, while the guilty will in most cases have severe difficulty in responding.
I know
It's time.
Totally awful to think about, but what are ways, because I need to make sure that you know what I'm talking about, what are ways that you can make someone disappear?
Oh.
I mean, like, if you're talking about, like, what I've seen, like, on the movies, or, like, how people, if you read about other people, I mean, you hire somebody.
Like a hitman?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Nope, that's
Oh
what
my
I want.
God.
I want you to go through all of these
He's
scenarios in your
freaking
head,
out.
because I want you to know for sure what I'm talking about when I say that, you know, asking you if you physically caused her disappearance.
Okay, like you would hire somebody, or you have somebody you know that would do it. I mean, it's like, it's hard. It's a hard question.
And I know this stuff.
It's a hard
It's not
question to
hard. I
answer.
can think of a trillion ways to get rid of someone.
It had nothing to do with this disappearance.
Right.
So, like, I don't even want to think about, like, if you're asking me, like, how I would do it. Like,
anyone. Like,
anyone
how would
Oh my God, he's
anyone cause
freaking out.
disappearance?
He's freaking out.
I said, like,
You could cause someone's disappearance by murdering them. Would
Yes.
you agree with that?
Yes.
So what different physical ways could you cause someone's disappearance through murder? You could stab someone,
Stab
right?
someone, shoot someone, hit them.
Caution not to mention actual causes of death. Wife strangulation, daughter's smothered.
I mean, use a weapon, like gun or knife. I mean,
His voice is cracking so much.
you could.
Say it. Say it.
You could smother someone.
Smother someone.
Oh shit, he said it. Uh-huh. What else?
Strangle someone.
Hang
Oh
someone,
my
yeah,
God. Oh my
all that
God.
kind of things. I mean, it's hard to even think about that kind of stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. So you could strangle someone, you could drown someone,
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
shock someone to death, you could burn someone alive. What other ways can you think of?
As far as like lure them into a trap, I guess.
So what do you mean? What?
Like, like have somebody waiting like around the corner and like,
Sure.
Following answers: hit by a car, kidnapped, locked in a room, poisoned, beaten into a coma.
They're in a coma.
Sure.
Wow.
So if I ask you that question on the test, Chris, are you gonna have any issue with that? About you
Like-
physically causing
Going through every
Shanae's
single one of
disappearance?
those?
Yeah, like that would be a way
Okay.
you could cause someone's disappearance.
Okay. No, I can definitely, like, I can pass, I mean,
Or you could murder them, you could kidnap them, you could take them to another country, you could, bury them in your backyard, you could do a million things.
There's a ton of
As far
things.
as, trying to conceal them,
yeah,
right? So that no one can find them.
yes.
Because at this point, she's gone. So when I ask you the question on the test, I'm not asking you about guilt. I'm not asking you about, did you make her feel so horrible that she ended up leaving? I'm saying that you were the one that physically caused her to disappear.
Okay.
Either by murder, kidnapping, all of those other things that
Okay.
we went through, okay?
You want me to list all those, like?
No.
Oh,
You're just
okay.
gonna say no to that question.
Okay.
But when I ask you if you physically caused Shanae's disappearance,
Okay.
your answer should be what?
No.
Right. So do you have any issues with that at all, and
No.
have any question about what I would mean when I was?
No,
She's
that's
so
totally,
good.
like, I just like going through all those that, that's
Right.
a lot to really think about.
Right. But
Like
that's-
trying to figure out like, that was,
Huh?
I'm gonna have you take a bathroom break. We've been in here quite a while. So you're gonna be taking what's called a directed lie polygraph. So what that means is there are gonna be questions on the test where I'm wanting you to
DLT?
lie. I know it seems kind of weird, but you're gonna know which questions these are, and they're gonna be easy to answer. They're all gonna start with before 2018.
The directed lie test has 3 types of questions. Known truth questions. These are easy questions to answer, such as, are you sitting down? Or, are you wearing shoes? They serve 2 purposes. The first purpose is to provide a baseline reading for when the subject is telling the truth, and should elicit very little bodily responses. The second purpose is to disconnect the examinee's thought patterns between each question as a means for resetting their cerebration for a more accurate reading. Control questions. These are what the polygrapher just explained to Chris. Whenever she says, before 2018, at the start of a question, Chris will know he is purposely supposed to lie. Each of these questions are deliberately constructed that all answers will be responded with no. Relevant questions. These relate specifically to the crime being investigated, and the examinee will know that they are supposed to respond truthfully. A guilty subject will show a much stronger reaction to the relevant questions than to the control
Does he-
questions. even
have
though
they
will be
been-
lying on
they've
both
been
of them.
found
This is due to
dead
the immediate
now.
threat posed by the relevant
Does he know that?
questions.
So I'm gonna say
They've been
before
found dead?
2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about? And you're gonna say,
no,
because you're telling
lie.
awesome.
Polygrapher then conducts a mock test. Chris is told to lie on the number 3 question.
The test is about to begin. Please remain still. Did you write the number 1?
No,
Did you write the number 3?
no,
Did you write the number 5?
no.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation.
Oh, they haven't found yet. Okay. Wait, I'm
You can
confused.
relax. How'd you feel?
This is the last time the polygrapher will have any correspondence.
Sorry, it's because remember when they were saying like the wife was strangled and the kids were smothered? The lady said smothered and strangled back to back as if she knew that they were smothered and strangled. So that's why I was a bit confused.
With Chris before the real test begins. She gives him an initial compliment in a reassuring tone.
You did great.
That was,
You remembered to lie and everything. That was awesome.
that was,
This momentary boost in his confidence is then abruptly ripped away as he receives the following information.
So,
Yeah.
you obviously are a really bad liar. Has people told you that before? Like the second you tell a lie,
Oh my
like, it's kinda,
God.
like on your face, but because the second you lied to the number 3, like I don't know if you heard me clicking, but I like turned down the sensitivity because you were starting to go off the page. So that is what I need to see as the polygrapher, because that tells me that you know it's wrong to tell a lie. And you're actually having a significant reaction when you lie, so that is awesome. So thank you for being a horrible
Okay,
liar.
I
No, that's a
feel like
good
I'm-
thing. That's a good thing. We don't want to be good liars, so thank you for being a horrible liar. And that just shows me that,
Oh, man,
obviously
this
on the
is
test
so
you were
good.
asking, significant stuff about your wife. If you're lying to that, it's going to be even 10 times more amplified. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, more than you know.
He seems so
That
demoralized.
was awesome. And the coolest thing about this is right now, there's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is. And in about 5 minutes, there's gonna be 2 of us, so that's the coolest part, okay? And then I can go
That's
share
the
that with
coolest
them
part.
out there. Okay?
okay,
Wow.
All right, you ready?
let's do it.
Test is about to begin. Please remain still.
Okay, okay. Test begins in 3, 2, 1.
Do you understand I will only ask you the questions we have discussed?
Yes.
Regarding Shanann's disappearance, do you intend to answer all of the questions truthfully?
Yes.
Is your first name Christopher?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about?
No.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
Oh!
Were you born in 1985?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever say anything out of anger to a loved one?
No.
Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
No.
I like that she pauses.
Are you now in the state of Colorado?
Yes.
Before 2018, have you ever wanted to hurt someone to get even with them?
No.
Do you know where Shanann is now?
No.
You could hear it in his voice when he lies every time.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. All right, how'd you feel? Same as all of it?
I think it was the same to everything.
For you.
Huh?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I hope. Watches videos of his kids. Wait, that's so weird.
Oh my gosh, I did forget part of it, didn't I?
Spill the tea, sis. What's the verdict?
So I brought Graham in here because we want to talk to you about the results, okay?
Okay.
So, it is
Here it
completely clear
comes.
that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay, so now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise. Chris, I know. Stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath.
Just stop. It's
I
time,
want
he
you to take a
said.
deep breath right now.
Okay, hold on. Part 3.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise. Chris, I know. Stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this.
This is a technique known
Oh,
as
the subtitles. Sorry. Sorry. I'll rewind it a little bit. Okay. Sorry. I was so invested.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this.
This is a technique known as social exchange, an interpersonal persuasion strategy in which the interrogator provides the suspect with a psychological reward in return for the information they need. In this case, she's trying to convince Chris that the alleviation of mental weight is a worthy trade for a confession. She does this in a manner that protects his
She's so
self-esteem
cool.
by giving him appreciative reinforcements.
And I appreciate that because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today. And you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could, at the end, say, you know what? I just need to get this off my chest.
Everything that I've told you, I did not lie on this polygraph. I don't know how much I could tell you right now. Like, I did not.
It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph, so I know you were being deceptive. So That's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste.
The following tactic is called
Wow.
the futility technique,
That's
a building
intense.
block to induce a sense in a suspect that any resistance on behalf of their
Denial
cause
is
is futile
pointless.
due to the overwhelming evidence against them. This was obviously not the case, as polygraphs are not admissible evidence, and Chris was in fact still free to leave at this point.
That's the
Wow.
issue right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
I've-
I know you want to tell us. I can see it in your face. Holding this lie in is going to do nothing for you.
I know this. Like,
Okay.
I'm not like trying to like cover things up. Like,
Yeah, but you kind of are, because it's normal.
This is no longer an interview to collect information. The steps of asking questions and receiving answers is over, and the interrogators are now in the process of leading the suspect into a state of mental exhaustion. The detectives will attentively watch for denials and stop them before they can be voiced.
I missed
Letting
the
the
timer.
suspect deny his guilt will only increase his confidence and prolong his cerebral stamina.
Normal people would do that.
Deplete his
Normal
cerebral
people that make a
stamina.
mistake initially are going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. That's normal. I would expect that. That's a natural reaction that someone's going to
You're
initially lie
predictable.
about something like that and then eventually tell the truth. So this is your eventually telling the truth.
Wow. She's so
This is
far
This
ahead.
is where the rubber meets the road, Chris. Like, don't let this continue any longer, please.
Wow.
I'm not trying to make anything continue. Like, I want them back home. Like,
But you know they're not coming back home. You know that.
I don't know in the back of my head. I hope they come back home.
But you know they're not.
Chris, Tammy and I are confused, okay? And here's what we're confused about.
Uh-huh. Tell him.
I told you that we've done some work overnight.
Yeah.
I told you that we've got a lot of leads, okay? That wasn't a lie.
I know.
We know a lot more than you think.
Dossier
The
technique?
dossier technique
Oh,
is a
dossier.
variant of the futility technique, the only difference being that the detectives are far more cryptic and often deceptive about the evidence they have. This will hint at things in a vague
We
manner
know
for the
everything.
purpose of escalating a suspect's uncertainty.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I don't know where they're at.
Oh my god, they both are doing the pause technique at the same
I do not know where they are at. If I could have my babies back home right now, I would. I want them back. I want everybody back. That is the God's honest truth.
Although the detectives want to intensify Chris's psychological
He
stress
regrets
levels, they
killing
do
them.
not
That's
want
why
him to
he's
become
saying that.
reactively agitated, as this could lead him to objecting and resisting every step of the way, and the interrogation will never get off the ground. It also significantly increases the chances of him requesting legal counsel and ending the interrogation outright. This elicits the interrogator to change approach and utilize what is known as the ego up technique,
Oh
where
my
the detective
God.
will build on the self-respect of the suspect
Ego
through
up.
positive reinforcement.
It is very surprising to me, and it warms my heart that you're the type of dad who can pack a bag in the morning, and you know just what to put in there, and you know just what to put in there as a backup in case they have an accident, okay? You know what the clothes to put in there, you know what they have for breakfast, you know what they have for a snack, and a dinner, and a nighttime snack. You can tell me the book you read to your daughters, okay? I know you love them, but you are here today lying about something else. So we need to talk about that, okay?
I cheated on her.
I know.
First breakthrough.
Very good. Keep
I saw her, took my breath away, and I never thought in a million years that could happen.
I know.
I never felt that way about anybody in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not proud of it. She accused me of it. I denied it. I cheated on her, and I feel horrible for it. Like, she was pregnant, and it was, I don't want to, I didn't hurt her.
You're doing a good job. This is the Chris that I knew would come out today. This is the Chris who tells the truth because you're a truth teller. I don't think this girl did anything to hurt anybody. When you leave her out of it,
Okay.
get back to your wife and your daughters.
Okay.
Where are they?
That I do not know. That was what I was holding back. Like, I didn't know, like, what I did. I know.
Chris, in the interview today, you weren't asked about infidelity. You were asked about
I was
Oh,
holding back
this
from
is
last night.
intense.
that's
When you
why
talk-
you failed today.
That's not how that works.
Here's the challenge that we have.
Oh my God.
We knew about Nikki, and so we didn't need to ask you about her in the
Oh
polygraph.
my
We just
God.
didn't need to, because we knew, okay? And so that's why we didn't ask you, because we already knew the answer, okay? We're very, very worried about your daughters and your wife. I am too. This should have been the happiest time of your marriage, okay? You and Shanann. This should have been the happiest time. She's making a little money. She's making good money. You're making great money. You both have a job. You have beautiful kids. You have a beautiful house. You're in Colorado. Clean air, good people. Okay? And on top of that, you look pretty good now. You're pretty fit. Okay? This should have been a time in your marriage where you guys were happy and thriving and productive. Okay? And I believe that Shanann's the reason none of that happened.
This is called the how and why solution, a technique that allows the suspect to admit a lesser act and blame the victims, while at the same
Happy
time
birthday, Michael.
minimizing the crime and
Thanks for
motivations
joining
of his actions.
Happy birthday.
I believe that she's a controlling person. Maybe doesn't listen to you as much as she should.
Ugh.
I think that she can do whatever she wants and you can't. Okay? I think if you were to go to a restaurant, she would order whatever the hell she wants. And as soon as you order a nice steak, she says, whoa, buddy. That's because you're a good person. And I think that she started on the path to leave the marriage. Okay? It's ironic that we're talking about you and Nikki. I think that she was the one who started on that path first.
What?
What do you think about that?
I wouldn't have thought about
Okay. And the other thing I think is interesting is, even though she is that type of person that's controlling, doesn't listen, does what she wants, is walking away from her kids, here you are defending her. Because to your core, you want to take care of the people you love. Okay. And that's the reason why
What?
we want to give you an opportunity today to just help us find them.
These people are on another level.
Chris, right now your dad's outside. He flew across the country to help you. Okay. You're lying to him.
Don't lie to Dad.
You're lied to everyone you talk to.
Oh
They all
my
bought it.
gosh, this is so...
Will you please help us find your babies?
I want to find them. I've told you over and over, I want to find them.
He's cracking.
Can you understand that some of this just doesn't make sense to us? How is it possible that a woman and 2 kids are just completely gone off the face of the earth?
I promise you, I have
Your
I have
promises
nothing on my
mean
hands. I did nothing to those kids or her to make
Those
them vanish.
kids.
As the interrogation goes on, the constant and relentless psychological pressure essentially puts Chris at the edge of his ability to function cognitively. It's a slow and methodical process of breaking down his resistance while maintaining a balance of pugnacious and reassuring psychological techniques.
Wow.
I just find it hard to hear you talk about just having this emotional, conversation with Shanann, and you're bawling and crying together, and you have not shed one tear in 2 days that you've been here.
Oh.
Not one.
True.
And help me understand that, because I don't get it. These are your baby girls, and you have not shed one tear
Not a single
over them
drop.
not being around. Chris, I lose my 4-year-old in the store for 10 seconds, and I start to go panic. I have not seen any of that from you at all. Help me understand that.
I love those girls. I would never do any of this because I haven't shed a tear. You
Yeah, no, that's weird. Is that weird?
Don't look
Sniffles
into that
on
like
cue.
I don't love my
Well,
kids.
tell
I love
me,
my wife.
explain to me. You're crying with your wife that you're leaving her,
Yeah.
but you don't cry that your 2 little baby girls
I'm
are
hoping
missing?
they're still around somewhere. I'm hoping they're still somewhere.
In the next moments, you will see step 7 of the Reed interrogation
Step
technique
7?
known as the alternative question, where the suspect is given an alternative and far more morally acceptable choice for what happened.
How do they have these steps
Did Shanann do something
memorized?
to them?
No, I don't know.
I'm serious.
I have no clue.
No, you would have known, because they didn't leave the house.
Like, when,
Did Shanann do something to them, and then did you feel like you had to do something to Shanann?
They were at the house when I left. They were there.
They weren't there. They didn't leave. They vanished.
They were
The
there.
only
That guy's like, oh, she's doing
way
step
they could've
7
left
right now.
is in your truck.
Did Shanann do something?
Something happened in the house that you know about. We know that something happened to all 3 of them. But I want to know, did something happen to these baby girls first that you had to take into your own hands and deal with?
You had to clean it up for Shanann.
Chris, you gotta tell us. There's something that happened to these baby girls. Look at them.
I know. Before you came in, I was watching videos.
We have no doubt you love these girls with all of your heart. I have no doubt. But we make mistakes.
That's okay.
It's what we do with those mistakes that make us who we are.
Chris, it seems like you're thinking about it right now. What are you thinking about?
She couldn't have.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I need to read that. Second breakthrough ceases outright denial. Okay, wait, what did he say?
Thinking about it right now. What are you thinking
Crazy seems like you're thinking about it right
She
now.
couldn't have.
What are you thinking about? She could have.
I feel like you cleaned up for her.
Alternate question?
I feel like that's the type of guy that you
Ego
are.
up technique?
Chris, this is a weight that's going to be on you.
Social exchange?
Before we resolve it tonight.
This is the final blow.
Unless we can talk about this more tonight, this is going to follow you forever.
They're combining their
When you
powers.
start talking to us, you will feel better.
Chris, we're giving you a lifeline right now. You need to take it. You need to reach out and take it. Chris, you took them out of the house.
Dossier technique.
And that's because you cared. That's why caring that.
2 ego ups! Holy shit!
Shanann, or you made the mistake.
2!
I mean, I want to believe that maybe Shanann did it and
His cerebral can't handle it.
to fix this so Shanann didn't look bad. That's what I want to believe. But I don't know. You're not telling me that, so makes
Oh,
me
it's
think
over.
The worst. Like,
It's over for this guy.
did you
I did not do anything.
all 3 of them?
I
Like,
did not do anything with these kids. Not do anything.
what did Shanann do to them? Tell us, Chris. Chicks are crazy.
Can I talk to my dad or something?
Absolutely.
Come.
Do you want to bring him in here?
No, I just need to talk to my dad. Like, he flew across the country.
Hey, Chris,
I can't.
how about this? If we brought your dad in here, would you please tell him what happened?
And you need to realize that your dad is not going to stop loving you no matter what you tell him. You are his child.
Wait, Dad's coming?
And he will not stop loving you.
What
Yeah.
technique is this?
Ever.
And this is not the last chapter in anyone's story at all. Okay.
It's not the last chapter. Last chapter is jail.
Hey, Chris, we're going to you have however much time you need, okay?
Sure. You gonna leave us in there or no?
Yes.
No.
And it's polygraph. Failed it. Yeah, because there's
Too much emotions.
it's
Anything else you want to tell me? What's going on? Or what happened or anything? You know anything about?
when we had that conversation that morning, it was emotional and told her about separation and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. What happened after that?
I mean, I went downstairs. I want to protect her.
What?
I want to protect her.
You don't want to protect her?
I don't know what else to say.
Huh? She hurt him?
Huh?
And
What now?
A pareidola technique, hearing what he wants to hear.
You smell it? Or choking? I didn't hear anything. When I was downstairs, I came back up. They were gone. Talking about separation and everything, about she lost. I don't know, like, what else to say, like, I freaked out. Those are my kids. I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it.
Oh, Dad.
And then you went back upstairs and she was
There, I could see, like, she was on top.
choking her. Did she kill him?
They're blue.
Both of them.
Yeah.
She choked both of them to death.
I freaked out at the same thing.
I feel so bad for the dad.
What's that?
Less than 10 seconds after the mention of the word lawyer, the detectives re-enter the room and immediately reinforce Chris with non-verbal empathic communication. They immediately divert Chris's attention from the well-informed advice of his father to their own appreciative reception of his contemporary admittance.
Wow! Dude! They are good. Less than 10 seconds they go in to distract them from that thought.
Will you tell us what you told your dad?
She was in there with her. On top of her. Freaked out. I ran in there and got on top of her.
What'd you do?
She was blue. Those are my babies. Those are my kids.
What happened?
They were
Although not the full avowal they are pursuing, Chris has still confessed partly to the crimes, and they now have one foot in the door. He is no longer free to leave. The
No
interrogation
longer
now
free.
returns to a non-suggestive process, where the detectives will collect further information, where they will not contaminate with excessive or direct input.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm shaking. Both my kids are blue and they're gone. So horrible for what I did. I don't know what to do.
Did the hard part. All you have left is to tell us where they're at.
You have to get them out of the cold. At that first location I went to that day. I don't know what to do.
I know.
I didn't know what to fucking do. Like, none of this made sense. Why would she hit my fucking girls? I'm sorry. I know.
I know you are. I know you came in today to do the right thing. Where'd you put him? Get him out there.
In the truck.
Did Shanann fight back at all? When you did that?
The rage that I had after seeing that night. Not much. I didn't know what else to do.
I know, just tell me what you did. I know.
I didn't know what else to do. I was so scared.
I know.
It's like, my wife just did this, and I just did that. What do I do?
Right.
You were in a tough spot. I mean, what can you do, right?
Sometimes your body just kind of takes over and...
What's gonna happen? We're gonna help them get out of there. Chris, I know they're gone, but they're still your babies, and you're still their dad.
You don't want them out there.
I don't want them out there.
And you don't want someone else to find them out there. You don't, I promise you. You give us a second so we can kind of get some things arranged. Can you do that?
What the fuck is this? This is just fucking horrible. I've always said she was an unstable person, but I never thought that in a million years that could happen.
Oh.
Why did this happen to me? Well, why did this happen to those two little girls?
I want to know how they find out that he killed the kids. Wow, how long were they in there for?
This ain't gonna be on the news anytime soon, right? As far as
No, not tonight. Whereabouts? The Shanann and the girls.
Shanann right there.
The S for Shanann, okay. And where
Bad
the girls
liar,
at?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Denise?
they need like proof,
So how did you dig this out?
like
How did you do it?
evidence,
Under dirt?
right?
How did you dig that?
So on that truck, so it sounds like, I mean, it feels like to me, now we know pretty well how to go get them. Is there anything else we need to know?
What do you think of that, Chris?
Let my family down. Let my dad down, let my mom, sister, nephew, nieces, friends, co-workers.
Can I ask you another tough question?
What about
Put it
daughters?
all on the table. When you see Shanann choking, strangling Celeste, and you get her off of Celeste, did you think about calling an ambulance? How come?
I see you lying there blue and limp.
Mhm.
I've never seen something like that in my life. I mean, she just like laid over, like nothing was, she wasn't moving at all, no gasp of breath.
Ugh.
She was totally just blue.
After the baseline information of Chris's version of events is gathered, he is now locked into an alibi and timeline of affairs that forensics will subsequently examine and dissect in ways so they can use it against him. The tone of the interrogation then reverts back from information gathering to a confrontational nature.
So Chris, doing this job for a long time.
I know.
I know a lot about
I can't believe it's 10 p.m.
psychology and as far as like what people are thinking. And most parents will never even want to fathom that their kid is dead. Even if their kid's stiff, blue in bed, I mean stiff like been dead all night, they still call an ambulance to see if someone can revive their child.
Mm-hmm.
And they, when the ambulance gets there and they're like, gosh, their kid's been dead all night, like there's nothing we can do. And the parents are like, why are you not doing something? What are you talking about? So that's what we're used to. So that's why I want you to explain to me like what was going on in your head and
The rage I felt for what she did, it just took over.
I would hate for Shanann to get a bad rap if she didn't have anything to do with it. You know, it's not fair.
I know.
It's not fair.
There is no technical term for this approach, yet it's a clear attempt by the detective to interconnect to the suspect's sense of morality, which is always under the assumption that they have any.
What? She invented a new technique.
We need to stop the bad stuff.
That's how advanced she is.
So, you want to tell us the truth?
That is
So you're good with the public knowing that Shanann killed her daughters?
I did not hurt these girls.
Are you okay with the public knowing that Shanann?
Yes, because I did not hurt these girls.
Chris, I'm not sure I believe you.
Oh my god.
Are you sure Shanann didn't catch you in Celeste?
No, my God, no.
Don't get mad. But what it looks like is that you found a new life, and the only way to get that new life was to get rid of the old life.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that you killed these girls before their mom came home.
Chris pleaded guilty to these exact allegations 2 months later?
And then killed Shanann. And that's what we're kind of left, that's what we have to believe, because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, to her point, if I walked in and my kid was decapitated, I'd call an ambulance, right? So
Knowing there's no hope.
it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
It
sense.
just doesn't add up.
Doesn't
So,
add up.
Either you're this monster who
Yeah.
says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something. So I think we're very, very close to the truth, but not quite there yet. So if you're not that monster,
I'm not a monster.
so what's going to happen when their cause of death comes back to you, for the girls?
It's not going to.
Okay. You sure?
I'm 100% positive it's not going to come back to me.
And what happens when a coroner looks and says, sees your fingerprints on their neck?
Oh.
Okay. What is it going to be?
It's going to be Shanann.
Why take their bodies out of the house and bury them?
I was scared. I didn't know what else to do.
Okay.
Nothing was gonna, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to do.
Scared of what?
Scared of what everything was gonna look like. My 2 babies were gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I just did that to my wife. And I was the only one left in the house. What do you expect is gonna happen?
Yeah. It did look bad, right?
And look, I mean, this was a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay. Yesterday when you were talking, and again, this is before we kind of got to this moment today, you mentioned that we were talking, you said, I don't know where they are, I don't know where they are, and then you said something along the lines of, whatever happened to them, this act of pure evil. What does that mean?
It's the evil that I saw when I walked behind Shanann and she was on top of CC. And then I felt evil for what I did to Shanann.
Okay. So after we look at their bodies, we're going to have a lot more questions. Things are going to be different then.
Oh my god, it's almost done.
But if you're willing, we'd love to talk to you then too. Now that we know what we know, we're going to, I need to check that you don't have any weapons on you or anything like that. Do you have any weapons on you? Okay. We'll do that. We'll go to the bathroom. I'm not going to go in the stall with you, but I'm going to go with you. And then we'll come right back here and we'll make a decision about how the rest of the night goes.
Oh
All right,
my
so
gosh.
you might see it in a second check.
This interrogation was a true testimony of how mental fatigue can restructure an individual's cognitive rationale. Chris maintained his innocence even after the failed polygraph, and if he had kept that stance, he would have walked out of that police department as a free man for at least another night. Yet after a prolonged state of isolation, anxiety, and fear, coupled with the cerebral influencing tactics of the interrogators, the alleviation of getting out of that situation was in that moment perceived as enough of a luxury to exchange his freedom for it.
Wow.
Chris, go ahead and stand up for me. I'm going to have you face that wall. Lift up your hands.
What? Wait, that's it?